The rage felt against other races is responsible for the majority of conflicts, fighting, and civil wars around the world. Racism or ethnic enmity is the source of this conflict, as they passionately maintain the superiority of their own race or ethnic grouping. Those who believe in such ideologies harbor hatred for others. In their view, the differences between races and nations justify conflict and competition to the death. In recent times, this ideology gave birth to the savagery of Nazism. Solely in the name of racism, the Nazis wreaked terrible mass slaughter on millions just because they were Jews, Slavs, or Gypsies. There is no place for racism in the morality of the Quran. In the Quran, God declares that the various nations and tribes exist so that people might come to know each other. A believer is well aware that the only criteria of nobility is fear of God, as God made clear in the following verse. The noblest among you in God's sight is that one of you who best performs his duty. God is all-knowing, all-aware. The catalyst for the most dreadful disasters of our times was regarding differences between people not as an opportunity for cultural exchange, but as a reason for conflict. The war in Zaire between the Hutus and Tutsis, two of the tribes in the country, is a typical example of the interracial conflicts that took place in the 20th century. The two tribes became engaged in this war in the spring of 1997. The repercussions of the conflict extended over an area comprising 5 countries including Zaire, Rwanda, Uganda, Burundi, and Tanzania. The tribal war resulted in a major genocide which left nearly 500,000 people dead. Innocent people were slaughtered merely because they were from a different tribe. Even babies and very young children were killed. Thousands of immigrants underwent gruesome ordeals in the forests, and ultimately the majority lost their lives from hunger and disease. In the Quran, God draws our attention to the fanatical rage of ignorant people in these words. Those who are disbelievers fill their hearts with fanatical rage, the fanatical rage of the time of ignorance. And God sent down serenity to his messenger and to the believers, and bound them to respect the formula of heedfulness, which they had most right to and were most entitled to. God has knowledge of all things. The racist movements seen all over the world expose the dark side of atheism. Peace among men will only be possible by living by and giving life to the values of the Quran across the globe.